Warning: the views and beliefs in the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators and do not believe in cancel culture. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey there, I'm Michael Davis, and I am the man behind the mic. And we've done a few of these episodes. I believe this is episode 5, and I've been most excited for the month of August. Like, the month of August is something, and Mike from Mouth Out for the Mic has said this. It's kind of a redemption month, and it's also my birthday month, which I'll explain here in a couple weeks why there needs to be a redemption of August. But sometimes things don't always go as planned, and that's okay. Um, and so if you've ever had a week where it just felt like you're behind the 8 ball, nothing can go right, there's something just every single day that piles up. That was this week in every sense of the word. Now, it wasn't like the worst week in the world, thankfully. I've already experienced that, I think. But it did present challenges, not only physically, but emotionally, mentally, and it's tough when those weeks happen. So I wanted to talk about that. Now, to say why August is a redemption month, and we'll go into that. We'll go into that here in a couple weeks of more in detail of everything that happened last year. Um, but I missed out on a lot of stuff last fall, and it stunk, right? It really stunk. And coming into this month, I am fully healthy. I'm fully okay. And I'm like, okay, we're going to make every day in August the absolute best. Like, there's going to be something legendary every day. I'm super excited. I'm super hype about it. And we're already 10 months into the month, or 10 days into the month, rather. And I'm like, okay, that is exactly a pipe dream almost, because it just hasn't like went super great all the time. And of course, like, last Saturday, I was I was able to go see a band in concert called the band Camino that I was supposed to go see last fall and couldn't for a reason I'll get into in a couple weeks. And so it was like, okay, this month is off to a great start. And it was like the final thing I had to check off my list of like something I missed out on last year. Well, now we're getting into the next week, right? So Sunday, watch SummerSlam with the family, and that was fantastic. I absolutely love that. Part of me wanted to go down for round 2 for the band Camino in Charlotte. They were that good. And if you've never heard, you probably haven't because they're super, super new. Very Gently was the opening act, and I've had a lot of their music on repeat here the last week. They were that good. But Sunday, I watched SummerSlam. It was great, everything. And then the week started to pile up, and it's like, oh my gosh, can I catch a break? Right? Monday, Mondays have become my Tuesdays. And if you guys know me about my Tuesdays, it's like, hey, if you want to do something with me, do not ask me to do it on a Tuesday. That is my rule. If if you ever ask me to do something on Tuesday, more than likely I'll say no. That's no offense to you, but it's just Tuesdays are crazy. That's become Mondays now. Mondays, I work my part-time job, and then I get ready for Out of Pocket, and then I get uh, Dad and the Boys recorded. So, myself and my dad can work on that Tuesday afternoon when the episode launches. And then we got Monday Night Raw, and then I get a nightcap. And so I if everything goes well, I am going hard from 7 a.m. to midnight on Mondays and living that old camp lifestyle, which I can do, and I enjoy I enjoy everything I do on Mondays, or else I wouldn't do it. But it's like, wow, okay. You're doing the gauntlet on Mondays, and then of course, you're too wired from the nightcap, because that's always a great time. You can see that if you watch the nightcap with myself and Mike. And then Tuesdays hit, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wake up at like 10 a.m. and do this. Well, 10 a.m. turns into noon, and you're like, okay, now I'm 2 hours behind, and now I gotta play catch up the rest of the day because I have a packed Tuesday as well. And Tuesday, just everything, man. Like everything that could go wrong Tuesday. Um, had some car transportation things that came up. Uh, had to do out of pocket, drop the mic, and I can't remember what else on Tuesday, but I'm pretty sure I'm missing something that I did on Tuesday. Probably some more editing, and then Wednesdays. Wednesdays are a lot, right? Wednesdays, I work, and then I do a men's group. This past Wednesday, we didn't do a men's group. I actually have taken the month of August to, you know, do my vacations, let everybody else do their vacations, and we'll pick back up um, next month in September. So if you're a guy in the local area and you want a group of guys, hit me up. My phone's open. My phone's open. Just text me and let me know, and I'll give you the details. It's super fun. It's not affiliated through a church or anything officially, even though there's a lot of guys from my church who are a part of it. But it's super fun. But yeah, Wednesday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get off work and I'm going to go and I'll get to I'll get to go watch Dynamite. Well, of course, not only was I having transportation things come up this week, uh, so did literally everybody else because of the storm. The storm affected a lot of wrestlers' travel, so a lot of the guys advertised were not there in attendance, and it was like, man, I mean, it was fun. I got to spend time with my dad, but it was a little bit of a letdown. And then Thursday, oh my gosh, like Thursday, I was supposed to go to a game with a couple buddies I haven't seen in about a couple years. And we were going to go to a baseball game here locally. And of course, it gets rained out. So it's like, man, now who knows when we'll be able to do that. And it's just one thing piling on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. Yesterday, spent most of the day getting ready for this upcoming week. Had to do a lot of things to get everything in order with that. And I was just like, I was looking at all these other projects that I'm a part of, and I'm like, man, I'm a little behind on this one. I'm a little behind on this writing. I'm a little behind on this. Uh, Seeing the social media content, whatever. And so those weeks you like start seeing things pile up. You start seeing things outside of your control, like the weather or your car or what this person is doing or what this person isn't doing, or like all this stuff starts piling up and you're just like, man, I can't catch a break this week. I mean, it's tough. And I'm smiling because I have to smile because it's tough, right? And then you look at the positives of everything that's transpired, right? You look at Sunday and, well, first of all, last Saturday was phenomenal with Ben Camino. Very gently, I was on cloud. If there was a cloud past cloud nine, I was on that. Like, it was that good. But you look at the positives of the week. Sunday, I did get to watch SummerSlam with my family, and there were years in college, and Dad kind of spoke about this when we were talking on Dad and the Boys. Like, there were times in college I couldn't be around for pay-per-views. I couldn't be around for Dallas Cowboys games. And this past Sunday, I was able to be at home, watch it with my dad, watch it with my mom. I think my sister may have popped in for a little bit of it too. And then we followed it up the very next day and watched Monday Night Raw together. And it's like, it's very rare that all of my family sitting down watching wrestling together live at the same time. So that was a blessing. Tuesday, it was a fun out of pocket. I had a blast doing that. Um, but I ended up, having some transportation issues, so ended up being actually at my part-time job because of their podcast studio there, and then ended up getting in a conversation with somebody that was really uplifting, really encouraging, a little creepy, just, if you know, it's like, "Whoa, you're reading my mind, bro." Um, but that was really good on Tuesday. Wednesday, even if the card was a little lackluster for AEW, which I I will talk about here later this week. This isn't a wrestling show. This isn't a sports show. I still got to spend time with my dad. I still got to spend time with my friends. I got to meet Four Sides of the Ring, who I've collabed with for the last 6 months or so. They were phenomenal. Uh, Thursday, yeah, I got rained out, but you know what? That's exactly what I needed because I needed to catch up on certain things. I needed to have that like brain break of like, okay, I can actually, figure this out, even though it was pouring outside. I'm very grateful I was able to get to work safely and get home from work safely. And that shouldn't be taken for granted or underestimated at all. Uh, Friday was getting everything together, but everything started to line up, when things were like, "Oh, man, this falls through," or "I thought this was gonna happen, this fell through." I had so many reliable friends who were like, "Yeah, I'll help. Let me step up. What you need?" It was phenomenal, and then when Mike put in that chat of, like, imagine if all these people, like, showed up at your house, show up at your front door, and that's when my perspective of the week started to change, is like, you know what? There are a lot of people who are rooting for me, whether that's with Boom Broadcasting, whether that's with my other jobs, whether that's just me and my personal growth and development. There's a lot of people rooting for me. There's a lot of people who care. And I really wanted to hit on that today. Like, there are going to be those weeks where you're just like, I can't win. And it's so easy. It's so easy to have a really good day or just an average day, like a normal day, whatever normal day looks like for you. And then one bad thing happened and you're just like the whole day's ruined. And then you bring that mindset into the next day and you're going about your business and one thing happens, you're like, all the day's ruined, and then you go into the next day, and it's just a pattern, it's a continued cycle, and it's so hard to step back sometimes, and you're like, "You know what? I have this, I have this, I have that person, I have this going for me, I have the ability to do this stuff," and that's the kicker for me, right? Like, when I start realizing I have the ability to go into work. I have the ability to pick up this project and that project. I have the ability to do what I'm passionate about. Last fall, I was like, okay, 1 year from now, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have this. And I have two of those three things already. And two of those things was, a job I'm passionate about and I love doing. And I have like 4 or 5 of those. I have a lot, between Boom Broadcasting, between the, job I'm at now, several other projects I do on the side, and the other one was my health, and that is to not be taken for granted. I'll explain more here in a couple weeks, of just how everything of that transpired, but that's why August is a redemptive week. Um, I want it to be transformative. It already was last year. I just didn't see it yet. And now it's like, okay, I noticed like me and Mike collabed for the first time last August, on August 1st. Like something good came out of last August. Looking back at this week, it's like I want to make every day special. But part of it being special is sometimes pushing through and grinding through and being like, "Hey, I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm alive, I'm healthy, and I'm on the path that God wants me on, and I'm in the season that I need to be in right now." So, I just wanna encourage you if you're listening, and this isn't a super long episode, I wanna encourage you if you're listening to change your perspective, shift your perspective, like, don't this isn't an excuse to invalidate what you're going through or things that went wrong. Like, yeah, talk about it. I just did, right? I just did it, and all of those feelings I was, experiencing over the course of the last week, they're valid, and it's tough. and I have certain people that I will call on the phone and be like, "Dude, I need to air this out. Will you listen to me?" And more often than not, they'll say, "Yeah." I don't know when that will stop, but we'll see. They are incredible. Like, I encourage you to find those friends that you can call at 11 in the morning or 2 at night and just be like, "Hey, dude, I'm going through it right now. Can you listen to me?" And if you get those people, it really changes your life. And it's really awesome to see when you see people caring about you, either in those difficult phone calls or just seeing people flow in the comments like I saw yesterday, which was really, really awesome. And so, yeah, that's my encouragement of the week. Next week, I'm gonna try to keep this perspective when it comes to what I'll talk about next week. If all goes well, we'll talk about rejection. We'll talk about what it was like last August, leading up to everything that happened at the end of the month, and kind of seeing there's a purpose for all the no's and all the closed doors, which have made me super grateful for the now open ones. So that's on the agenda for next week. Usually I don't try to map these out. I'll be honest. I don't try to map these out. It's usually, okay, what happened that week? What do I want to convey to the people or the person listening? But I really want to touch on that because I think touching on that will help me touch on what I need to touch on here in a couple weeks when it's my 1 year anniversary. It's not a ring. Where's my left hand? Yeah, it's not a ring. No, I'm talking about that anniversary. Talking about something a lot more serious, right? What's more serious than marriage? Who knows? We'll find out in 2 weeks. But yeah, guys, really, really appreciate all the love. Really appreciate all the support, and just stay tuned for the rest of Boom Broadcasting. And if you're enjoying this and you need somebody to open up to, message me, text me, whatever you need to do. Share it in the comments if you want it public. But yeah, I just want to be an encouragement to you guys. And yeah, we're going to end this episode, but appreciate you guys. And this has been the man behind the mic.